This week you're going to begin a new unit of the semester, and it is on critical thinking. And it's also my favorite. I absolutely love critical thinking. I love teaching analysis and things like that. My education is mostly based in literature, and so that is all about analysis and critical thinking. So I really do enjoy it, and I hope that you will enjoy it too. It may be something that is a little hard for you to grasp at first, and that's okay. It is difficult to change the way that you think, and thinking critically is just that. You're changing how you look at something. You're no longer going to just look at the surface of something and take it for what you see, but you're going to look deeper and see the meaning that's either behind the words or behind the picture, something like that, so that you can see what's going on behind that surface. So, for example, say you're sitting down watching TV and a commercial comes on. You could just believe everything that the commercial says, get sucked into whatever it is that it's selling, and, go on your merry way believing it. That's not thinking critically, of course. That's just taking it for what you see and accepting it as that. Whereas with critical thinking, you'll be looking at that commercial going, okay, how are these advertisers trying to persuade me? Why are they using those colors? Why are they using that font in the text? Why are they arranging it this way? How are they using humor? How are they using sex appeal? How are they using cultural assumptions in this advertisement in order to persuade me? What are they persuading me to do exactly? And what does that mean about me if I am persuaded to do what they're telling me to do? That is critical thinking. So it's looking at the surface versus trying to find meaning through whatever it is that you're seeing. And that's why I like it so much. There's so many different views and perspectives you can have on something. And being able to see those is an excellent skill to have. It will help you so much in the future as a student, as well as out in the career field, as a parent even. And really, when you think about it, critical thinking is actually a gospel principle. Our church leaders don't tell us to just take the gospel at its face value. Instead, they tell us to pray about it, and to think about it, and to study and to ponder. And that, in and of itself, is critical thinking. Just because Joseph Smith said that he had a vision in the sacred grove does not mean that we have to believe that. We gain a testimony when we truly ponder and think about it in a critical way. And when we do that, that is when we gain a true testimony that will help carry through the rest of our lives and will help us, when we face challenges in our life. That's how we gain a testimony. We don't gain a testimony by sitting back and passively believing everything that the general authorities say, or a bishop or stake president, says to us in a talk. That's not what we're asked to do. Instead, we're asked to think and ponder about the things that we are taught and the things that we learn, and to think critically about them, and then to gain a testimony from them. So I hope that connection makes sense, because I really see the gospel as helping us learn to think critically. When we read the Book of Mormon, we don't read about the Gadianton robbers and not, take that meaning into our lives and apply it in some way. We're not supposed to just sit back and idly read about the army of Helaman and not apply that. So in order to apply it, we have to think critically about it. What is it in the Book of Mormon that we can take away and make ourselves better, help us, become closer to the Savior, things like that. So that in and of itself as well is critical thinking. So again, I hope that you enjoy critical thinking, and while it might be challenging, I hope that you will find that it is worth the effort on that. And if you have any struggles with it, let me know. I have posted a video, kind of an introductory overview of what critical thinking is, and that video gets very in depth as to what it is, how to do it, and what it means to you to be able to be a critical thinker. So that's on my notes from Sister Asmussen page in the tips and reminders section. So I really, really encourage you to look over that video so that you can have a stronger understanding of what critical thinking is and why it's a part of this course. So now that I've got that little, I'll step off my soapbox for that, and let's move on to the work that you're going to be doing this week. It's pretty standard. compared to the work that you've done in the past week. So hopefully nothing is too wild and crazy for you. Here's the calendar. Well, we'll just start here. You've got grammar, your reading assignments, discussion board, everything like that. Pretty much the only different thing this week is the mid-course feedback. So that is a different assignment that you need to complete in addition to your weekly reports by the end of the week on Saturday. Your grammar lesson is going to focus on wordy sentences. I tend to get a little wordy. Sometimes my sentences get a little long, so this is a good lesson to learn. You want to make sure that every word is working towards something, so that you want to be clear and concise without being wordy. If you're wordy, your reader is going to start losing what you're talking about. And I don't want you to think that, oh, well, if I don't have long sentences that are really complex and have a lot going on, then I'm not showing that I'm smart. That's not true. When I was working on my graduate thesis, my thesis advisor was having me cut down my sentences like crazy, and you know what? She was right. I was better understood when I had not simple sentences like, my name is Jane, I like dogs. My writing wasn't like that. But if my sentences went on to like being 2 lines long, she'd be like, okay, you need to cut that back. And it's true. So you want to be able to have good, clean sentences that are easily understood, and wordy sentences can sometimes inhibit that. For your readings with the discussion board, I really hope that you enjoy these. My favorite reading of this quarter is the Ophelia Syndrome. Semester, not quarter. Apologize there. The Ophelia Syndrome is just excellent. I absolutely love that. And it's all about critical thinking and what happens when you don't think critically. So really think about how that reading helps you understand the importance of critical reading and thinking. So I hope you, and the other reading is good as well, but I really like the Ophelia Syndrome, so I hope you get something out of it. Again, I really, really enjoyed that. So make sure you complete your discussion board like normal, get your initial post in by Wednesday, and get your response post in by Saturday. Please make sure that you follow the directions on the discussion board. Make sure you really add some good insight to your initial posts. Really look at the writing and how the author is effectively delivering their message, but ultimately make sure that you follow the prompt of the discussion board itself. If you pick an option, then answer all the questions, do a really good job, and add a lot of insight to it. Don't do the bare minimum, because you're not going to get much out of it if you do that. Your writing lesson this week is going to focus on addressing opposing viewpoints, which is just having perspective. That's a huge part of thinking critically. You've got to be able to see multiple views and opinions, and that doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but you have to acknowledge them. Otherwise, you just got tunnel vision on your one opinion, and that's not thinking critically. Also, unity and focus is a hugely important lesson in writing on how to keep your paragraphs in your paper focused on one topic at a time, and how to keep all of your ideas unified. And you'll find how they're related, because they really are. If you don't have unity, your focus is probably off, and if you don't have focus, you're probably going to be lacking in unity. So they do kind of go hand in hand there. Your writing assignment this week is to start your first draft of your critical thinking essay. We'll take a look at that in just a minute. Make sure you take your first draft to your gathering to get some feedback on it. Complete your speaking partner work, and then you've got your 2 typical reports that you fill out each week, and then don't forget the mid-course feedback assignment that you need to do as well. So let's come over here to the writing assignment. I just want to cover that really quickly so you know what you're working on. So you're going to be writing a critical thinking essay, and the first thing that you are going to do is pick one of these questions. You can see they're kind of bulleted here. I wish they were kind of highlighted a little better, but so from should classical works of literature all the way up to should a predominantly LDS community. These are all the questions that you're going to be answering. So you're going to pick one. Then you are going to write an essay based on your answer to these questions. Okay, so you're only picking one, and then writing an essay that delivers your answer. Do not refer to these questions. Don't say, the question that I chose was, should the United States use military? Don't do that. Your audience doesn't know anything about this. Just get into your topic, get into your answer of these questions. Just kind of ignore that the questions exist. This is only to give you the start of your topic. Just write objectively and don't refer to the questions as you write, if that makes sense. If not, let me know. Let's check out the rubric. There are 2 samples down here, so make sure that you take a look at those so you have a good idea as to what you're expected to do. Make sure that in your first paragraph you state the problem you're addressing, and then you're going to formulate your answer into your thesis statement. Make sure that you use logic, experience, examples, and research to support your thesis as you move throughout your paper. If you use research, you have to have a works cited page and you have to cite all of your work. Make sure that you have a powerful conclusion where you reinforce your thesis and then state the larger significance of the issue. And then, of course, all of the sentence level things, editing, grammar, things like that. Make sure your paper is long enough. Again, don't do the bare minimum, but I believe it's a 1 to 2 page paper again. Let's double check. Oh, it doesn't really say here. I think most of them are 1 to, yep, there it is. 1 to 2 pages, so make sure you have a good full page. I always recommend going on at least a little bit to a second page so that you make sure it's long enough. Again, here are the 2 examples. Make sure you take a look at those. And that's about it for the week. So if you have any questions, let me know. I really, again, hope you enjoy working with critical thinking. It might hurt your brain a little bit. You might get a little mentally tired, but that's okay. Really try to go outside your comfort zone and learn to think critically, because it's a skill that will help you pretty much the rest of your life. So have fun. Let me know if I can help you in any way.